Hi, I'm Larry Plank, President of the Tampa Bay STEM Network and also the Executive Director for K-12 Science and STEM for Hillsborough County Public Schools. This summer, we partnered with the Department of Defense to put together 3 incredible summer camps for our young scientists. On this episode of STEAM Ahead, we go to Mission Tampa Bay, an all-girls camp where our students explored earth, water, and air that make up Tampa's natural ecosystems. Let's go to Dr. Kathy Ginden over at the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center in Apollo Beach to hear all about Mission Tampa Bay.
Thanks, Larry. Hi, my name is Kathy. The kids call me Dr. G here at the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center in Apollo Beach. It's been really great having the opportunity to be the director here at our facility. We offer hands-on marine science experiences for all of our visitors of all ages that are able to come. All of our lessons that we do, like I said, it's a full immersion experience in hands-on marine science. The kids are doing the lessons. All of our lessons have been matched to the educational standards for Florida. So teachers can rest assured the students will cover the material they should be covering in the classroom. Principals, school boards can be happy to know that the kids are actually going to get outside, step away from those monitors, put down their cell phones, but come and see how the resource managers for Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission do their field work. So the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center is part of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Most people know that as FWC. That's the acronym you see on my shirt. So Florida Fish and Wildlife is famous for the researchers who do the science to study our fish and wildlife resources here in Florida. Then they pass along those scientific research to the managers who make the decisions of whether or not our rules and regulations need to change relative to fishing or hunting. And then our law enforcement officers are the ones that make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do as law-abiding citizens. About 11 years ago, the agency realized, we're missing that educational component. We are not helping to create that next generation that cares. So they started our Florida Youth Conservation Centers network. I've been fortunate enough, the Suncoast is the only fully marine science focused center in our youth network. We've been working with Hillsborough County Public Schools now for several years. We did our open house in 2017. We've had a really good working relationship. We're excited to have groups like Mission Tampa Bay come and use our facility. So our Mission Tampa Bay weekend with our 8th grade girls from the Hillsborough County School District, it's a really exciting opportunity that we can share our space and our resources with them. On Friday, the girls will be out kayaking. I think they're actually out kayaking right now as I'm talking to you all. So they're getting a chance to go and explore the mangrove ecosystems of Tampa Bay. They're going to be taking water samples and soil samples. And as they spend the weekend exploring the Tampa Bay estuary and our watershed, their role is going to be to look at our Tampa Bay ecosystems in the mangroves and view it from the eyes of a biologist, through the eyes of a chemist, and through the eyes of a physical scientist. And so it's a really neat opportunity. Today they're focused on the kayaking and going through the mangroves. Another day they'll have an opportunity to fly some drones. We have a really unique campus in that we are part of a greater Florida Conservation and Technology Center. So on our campus, we actually have our hands-on marine science center, the Suncoast. We have a marine fish hatchery where the scientists are learning how to help increase and enhance our sport fish populations around the state. The girls are going to get a chance to go and explore that fish hatchery on the last day during their camp this weekend. We have a sea turtle rehabilitation center that is run by the veterinarians and research staff for the Florida Aquarium. We have a coral research center where they've been doing some groundbreaking fantastic strides in actually spawning some of our corals, which are in pretty dire straits. Aquatic careers are so important as we start working with today's youth because water, I like to say water is fundamental. So water is fundamental, and if we can get kids excited about the water and the watershed and taking care, making sure we have healthy environments so that the animals that need those healthy habitats in order to survive and thrive This is my job now as director at the Suncoast, to help inspire and get those kids outdoors and excited about being wet and being muddy and being sweaty and just loving our environment and loving our natural world. With the girls in particular, sciences in general have been a really male-dominated field. You don't see a lot of women role models out there in the field, on the screen, behind the computer. They're there. There's been a few but in those roles since the beginning, not too many. And it's still a little bit heavy-handed on the male side. So we are really trying to help diversify the sciences, trying to get young women and young men of a lot of diverse backgrounds interested in the field so that people realize that science is for everyone. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter your income, and it doesn't matter who's in your family, right? If that's your passion, go for it. And the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center is here to help make that happen for any kid who wants to come and cross our threshold. If you'd like to learn more information about the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center, please feel free to email us at suncoast@myfwc.com.
Hi, my name is Peggy Barrage, and I'm a district resource teacher for Hillsborough County Schools. I focus this year on the DoD grant. It was a grant we received from the Department of Defense, and one of the great things that it's funding is our Mission Tampa Bay camp. So I'm here at the Suncoast Conservation Youth Center, and we actually just got off a kayak with a whole bunch of really great girls, and they are so interested in STEM, and this is a great opportunity for them to see the math and the science out in the real world. So in the classroom, sometimes we have trouble with engagement and we're like, okay, here's a tool, but what am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna actually do in the real world with it? This is an opportunity for our girls to get out. They got out in the kayak. We went out along the river. They were able to take notes. They used measurements. They used all kinds of really awesome tools that normally they don't get to see in the classroom. But now they're connecting it with, how can I use this and grow up to be a biologist, a chemist, or an engineer. And we also have project managers. So these are all different types of careers that now our girls are seeing that I can do that. So this is an opportunity for us to get the girls out in nature, but also doing experiments. They're collecting data samples. They're looking at all of this stuff and having conversations with each other. And then hopefully what that's gonna lead them to is how I'm using my math and science in the classroom to actually have a career when I grow up, when I go to college. What am I looking for? And to build that self-esteem and that knowledge that I'm a girl and I can do STEM and I'm awesome and I rock.
My name is Dr. Tracy Finara. I'm an environmental engineer and ocean scientist, currently with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And this weekend, I get to run Mission Tampa Bay. I mean, obviously not alone. I have an amazing team that there's no way I would be able to do it without. But this camp in particular is so cool because it is literally taking together everything: water, land, atmosphere, ecology, geology, biology, chemistry, putting it all together to make sense of our watershed here in Tampa Bay. And of course, I'm kind of biased. My expertise is in hydrology, stormwater design, and environmental engineering. And this is pretty much what I did for many years. So it's so exciting for me to bring it to the girls. We are going to approach watershed ecology through 3 different ways: by way of water, land, and air, or meteorology. And the first day, go out in kayaks, really understand the water that we see around us, why people came to Tampa Bay in the first place, how early settlers survived in these locations. And it's because they were able to live off the land, because we have such a beautiful, diverse system, but mostly because of the water.
My name's Katrina Carwise, and I'm here with my daughter, Tiffany. We've had an awesome experience learning more about STEM and STEM careers. As an educator, my daughter really follows what I do, and I teach math and science and STEM. So when we talk about her future career, she's always wanted to work in animal sciences or something where she can use innovation and those core skills of collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. So when we found out about an opportunity for her to enjoy a camp where she's learning from an environmental scientist who is a female and can show her all the many things that kids can do if they're willing to get out of their element and learn a new skill. It has been a fabulous experience. I hope that she continues to learn more as we get into learning about technology and drones, and they're making presentations. So at the end of this experience, Tiffany will be at a point where she is growing as a scientist and learning more about STEM careers and being able to use those skills outside of school.
Hi, my name is Tiffany. I'm going to the 7th grade and I'm attending Turner Bartels. I'm very excited to be here because I get to work with animals and algae and like looking at the water, because when I grow up, I want to work with animal and understand their needs and enrich their environment. And I really like this camp because it has like STEM, and I like grown up to like STEM. Everything around it. This summer camp exposed me to like the ecosystem and the environment, and I really like kayaking. I've never done it before, but I really like it, and it's really fun to just like exercise your muscles in your arms and like go through the water and look at like bugs and crabs that are on the trees and stuff. It's really cool. So we went down a river. We tried to like get the hang of like going on the kayaks, try not to fall over. We did water sampling. We checked the temperature, the salinity, the color of the water. So like we just like scooped it up and then took it in a bottle. Sometimes we took some like animals in the bottles too, so we can just like look at them. And then for our presentation that we have soon on Sunday, we're going to like put together all the information we have and show our parents later on everything we found. I learned that the color, even though there's like algae in the water, it like protects the water, and like it doesn't make it dirty. Even though there's so much like color in it that you can see, it doesn't make the water exactly like bad or dirty. It actually makes it cleaner without bacteria. And I learned that there's a lot more animals and insects I have never seen in my life that are scary and cool. My mom is here volunteering today, and I'm excited because like she's like experienced the same thing I'm experiencing, and she's like helping with me with some stuff that like, and she's helping the others. Like if they don't know how to find something, if they don't know how to do something, she can help. It's pretty nice having her here to volunteer. I like it. Thank you, Mission Tampa Bay, for having me here for this opportunity. I'm like really excited for this. I really like it. Go girls!
On day 2, we're going to look at the lay of the land, the slope, the geology, the vegetation, the land cover, the changes throughout time to urbanization where we are right now, and how those changes impacted our water bodies. The last day, we are going to go by air, looking at rainfall, stormwater, weather patterns over time, climate, to see how everything is connected, the chemistry, biology, geology, water, and the land, and to see what kind of drivers our atmosphere brings us.
Hello, my name is Taylor Pewitt. I'm with WAZED. We are here preparing some drones at the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center for the Mission Tampa Bay girls mission that we're going to have here in another couple weeks. All right, so when we look at these drones, the idea is to expose the girls to the different components that help drones fly. So we have our motors, we have the ESC and flight controller, which are essentially the brains of how the drones work. So the transmitters are going to control the drone using different switches, different gimbals. So the big focus for this camp is going to be focusing on the engineering concepts and how all the components work together to make a drone fly. From there, they might also be exposed to different sensors that they can be used with drones. If you're going to be doing geographical maps or video, photography, and understanding how different environments function. If I'm taking thermals and understanding, all right, this area is going to be a different temperature, a different humidity level, how does that apply to the environment? So they can capture a lot of that data using drones, and we want to get them to experience all the technology that goes into making this function. We're going to be going over the mangroves, taking some video photography, mapping out the areas that they've gone through and experienced, and done a lot of these scientific experiments with, and understanding, all right, what do these components mean? So hopefully they can see from the air, hey, this is the difference between land and water and how all that comes together. Yeah, so as you look at the drone industry, photography and videography is obviously the biggest take. Anybody can start it as a weekend gig or a side job or something. We want the girls to experience the other side of that, the technology side. All right, how can I use drones to assess natural disasters? So they'll be going through experiments where they get to assess a situation using the camera and say, all right, how do I approach this situation to mitigate that problem? You can also use different sensors to map out geographical areas if you wanted to go through even further and look at forestry. All right, are the trees in this forest being cut down or falling down at a drastic rate? How can we mitigate that? What areas do we need to focus on to actually go back and plant some more trees? Let's get the forestry back up. So we've had a lot of like Boy Scouts groups and Girl Scouts go through and use drones and that type of technology. So the components that I have in front of me, I mean, I've got a couple of motors already mounted, and we have two different chipsets here. The top one is the flight controller. You can think of that as the brains of a drone. So it's telling it what to do. And then the bottom is what we call the ESC. The ESC is an electronic speed controller. So these three wires will actually be soldered onto the ESC below, and that will tell the motor how fast it needs to spin in order to keep the drone up in the air. So the other component to that is what we call the receiver. So this is a little antenna, and that's going to be soldered onto the flight controller. And what you'll notice on here, if people are familiar with Raspberry Pis, you have transmit and receive ports. So T5, R1, you have receive and transmit ports. Those are going to communicate with this receiver. That way later I can program the transmitter to actually start communicating and giving directions to this drone. The idea being that at that point, with all of these additional transmit and receive ports, you could attach LED lights and have them go on the arms so your drone is easily identifiable in the air. You could even attach a GPS unit and other sonar sensors to help level out the drone if you want to have more autonomous flight, or even activate a switch that says go home. So when we look at a drone like a DJI, a lot of that is already incorporated in the drone, and you can say, hey, all right, I don't know where I'm at, I want my drone to come back home to me, and that uses GPS. So by doing this technique, they're understanding how to program the GPS to actually flip a switch. Oh, this is what happens when that is going on. So they're going through that experience. Another good one might be the engineering design process. So they're going to be going through 3D printing objects as well. So if I wanted to 3D print a antenna mount for the back of this, I can do that. If I want to 3D print a GoPro holder, I can do that. As long as I take my measurements and understand what I need to do in terms of creating this in Tinkercad or AutoCAD, whatever I might want to use in terms of a software. So they will be essentially going through and problem solving as they're building these drones.
The girls are going to explore water, land, and air, and they're going to do that by way of biology, chemistry, engineering, and project management. So each day, one of the girls is going to have a role that's going to change each day, so they get to experience what it's like to be in another role. And so they're going to be taking samples, analyzing those samples both chemically and biologically, looking for microbes or microalgae. They're going to look at the land around them, the mangroves, the biota, flora and fauna. They're going to look at our atmosphere, our weather, use weather sensors to actually understand wind direction, changing humidity, changing pressures with changing weather. And hopefully this will all come together. Between them kayaking, storm chasing, and doing land surveys, they will understand their watershed.
Hi, my name's Alina, and I'm a 7th grader here at Mission Tampa Bay. Today we went out on the kayaks and we learned to take samples of the water, and we learned how to take the different pH levels and test different things like the temperature. When we went kayaking, we saw crabs, which was really fun because to see everyone's reactions. And then I saw a bird and I saw a fish jump out of the water to, I think, eat something. I've done Mission Tampa Bay, and this is my 2nd year. Last year, I was able to collect a sample with algae in it, and this year it was a bit different because it's in a river instead of the Tampa Bay, and this year it's a pond. It's 2 different bodies of water instead of just one. I like STEM because it's like how you can see the world and how the world is affected by many different things and how it can help different people. Thank you to Dr. Fanara and everyone at the camp.
So along the way, each girl is getting to experience one of the careers. So whether they're today, some are biologists, tomorrow they might be a chemist. So they've been collecting samples, and then actually they're going to be running tests on them. They're taking notebooks, they're taking pictures, they're drawing pictures, they're having conversations. So they're taking all of those experiences and they're going to put it together in a little like flip grid for their parents. So at the last day of camp, the people are going to be coming in so that they can share what did they learn across the 3 days about themselves, what did they learn about math and science, and then more importantly, how did they learn about their impact on our watershed here. So the girls over the next 3 days are going to be taking photos, having great conversations, using their notebooks to collect all this data and really put together a way to communicate what they learned here and communicate it to all of the other people out there that were not able to be with us. So we're going to be doing the presentations for the parents, and then I hope you enjoy and take a look at a couple of ones we're going to show you right now.
Hi, I'm Bodie, and I learned about all the animals and plants in the Tampa Bay stream, like little black crabs or fish and mangroves. I enjoyed my experience kayaking around the Tampa Bay stream.
Today I learned that weather changes, especially storms, can change many elements of bodies of water. After a storm, the salinity of water decreases because the rain falling into rivers and lakes is fresh water, so the overall salt content goes down. On the other hand, the water flow increases in speed because of the large amount of quickly moving rainfall.
Today I learned that storms affect different parts of our waterways, like the salinity. After the storm, the salinity dropped at the launch site because of fresh water from the rain mixing with the saltier water. How our land is shaped can also affect the path of water through our ecosystems, for example, the slope. I saw today that pipes are used to help direct rainfall back into ponds and rivers, which eventually lead to our oceans.
This is Ladisa, and what you need to know about this camp is that there is beautiful places that you go to, and we learn a lot about STEM, like the weather, water, the air, and it's just amazing. It's really fun. And I definitely think that my decision to go here was a good one. It was really fun because we went to the place for the sea turtles today, and on the first day we went kayaking. So it's really fun, and I just think that it is amazing. So bye.